This should hopefully follow on well from Greg's presentation on phosphine fumigation. So the last phase of a fumigation with phosphine is the venting, and you'll read on the label that there's various requirements with the venting. One of the key requirements is that it meets a very low concentration once the venting is completed, obviously for safe handling of the grain into the trucks and then obviously to the point of delivery. So the graph on the top here is really, there's very little information on this research, particularly in the field research side of things, on what are the levels of phosphine post-venting. One of the common venting methods, the fumigation, so a 10-day fumigation is finished. The aeration fan is used on the base of the silo to blow air through the grain and hopefully reduce that phosphine level, which, as you can see up on the graph, in this case at the end of 10 days, was at 800 parts per million. So that's not that unusual at the end of the fumigation period. Down the left-hand side on the y-axis there, you'll see, typical fumigation levels at the peak are around 2,000 parts per million. Look at the amounts of parts per million there we're dealing with. So this is safety levels of fumigation, right around below 1 part per million, below 2 parts per million. The two lines here, I should point out, that little green arrow there is at 0.3. Now that is a time-weighted average safety level for phosphine. If we draw a line right across there, what we found was after the required 10 days the required 1 day of running the fan, within a few hours, in fact, within 2 hours after that venting, instead of being under that 0.3, we're at 0.4. And over a day after the venting, we're actually up at 1.4. Out of interest, we had to pull those insect cages in this particular trial out. So you'll see that blue arrow there. So we've vented the silo, and sure, the actual concentration is dropping. We pulled the grain out of that silo, augured it out into a truck, and then put it again, augured again, back into the silo. And within hours, we were back above the 0.4 again. So if that grain was to be delivered to a delivery point, it would be rejected on the basis of being above that time-weighted average if speared. Took some time to drop below. The interesting comparison was I had measurements just on the surface of the grain, and they were at, rather than spearing into the grain, taking these measurements, and they were well below the 0.3. So the technique of measuring for this safety level is important. We need more trial work in this area. Thank you.